Senator Ned Nwoko, Regina Daniels' estranged husband, finally breaks silence, and he explained in details what actually transpired in that house that night when Regina was shouting and crying, saying, "In Ned Nwoko's house, I am a nobody, but in my house, I am a queen." Now, here is the full details of it. But before you watch the video, let me read out Ned Nwoko's statement to you guys. He wrote, and I read, "These videos show Sammy, Regina's brother, repeatedly coming to my home and harassing my children and domestic staffs, especially whenever I was not around. His visits were often aggressive and disruptive. This is someone I sponsored through his last 2 years at the University of Ekpoma. I bought him musical instruments, rented and furnished a flat for him in Abuja. In addition to the house I bought for Regina in Asaba before our marriage, for the use of all of them, I also routinely provided allowances to all members of the family, including her mother, Rita Daniels. Indeed, in the last 2 years, I have recorded of transferring 125 million to her alone. When Regina started her rehabilitation, there was a clear instruction by the doctors to strictly restrict people, especially her enablers, from having access to her. The therapy was arranged after I noticed troubling changes in her behavior linked to her dependence on certain illegal substances, including going for 48 hours without sleeping and eating every 2 hours. Unfortunately, Sammy, Destiny, some of their siblings, together with a few of their friends, notable Sonia, Uche Montana, among others, constantly defied those instructions. They come into the house uninvited, sometimes forcing their way in, and will bring her the same substance she was being treated for. Instead of helping her recover, they encouraged her addiction and completely frustrated the effort of the doctors and therapists working with her. He went on to say, "It is important to know that Lawrence, Sammy, his girlfriend NK, Destiny, Sonia, and others also took the same substance as Regina. In fact, Lawrence and Sammy were the ones who first introduced and supplied this substance to her. They were deeply involved in the habit themselves, and rather than helping her get better, they kept drawing her back into the same destructive lifestyle. I do not drink alcohol nor smoke. In fact, I am a vegetarian, so I found these characters and behaviors reprehensible and totally unacceptable." Just few weeks ago, I woke up around 5 a.m. and realized that Regina was in my room, and on the phone, she was clearly high. And she knows that I do not want her in my room in that condition. I asked her to go to her room, and she told me that Sammy's girlfriend was in her room. I was alarmed and angry because that girl should never have been in my house, let alone around Regina, since she is one of the enablers who constantly bring her the substance she is addicted to. I told Regina that the girl had to leave, and one of my drivers dropped her off. 30 minutes later, Sammy came to my house shouting and demanding that I come downstairs to face him. He said I had no right to ask his girlfriend to leave my house. He was ranting and threatening, waking up everyone, including the children. I eventually went downstairs and had to instruct the security to physically push him out of my compound. The level of audacity was shocking. Without the influence of substance, he could he have been so bold and disrespectful? He went on to say they did not stop there. On several occasions, they verbally assaulted and intimidated the police officers stationed at the house for security. The officers were simply following instructions to restrict access for the sake of Regina's recovery, but Sammy and his groups would insult and threaten them. Whenever Regina wanted to go out and I was not around, she would become extremely hostile towards the police and domestic staffs. She would shout, threaten, and use abusive words, insisting that she must leave the house no matter what. He went on to say there were at least two serious incidents where she left home in the evening and did not return until the next day. The first incident, she returned in the morning around 9 a.m. When I asked where she had been all night, she casually said she was at a nightclub. When I questioned why she would stay out all night, ignoring my calls and refusing to answer messages, her response was, "You are not my father, so don't ask me where I was." I found out that she was with Cassie and that Cassie was staying in Regina's house in Lifecam. Cassie is the chemist and supplier of the group. I had to go to Lifecam at 6 p.m. to ask her to leave. With her around, the therapy became a joke. On another occasion, on the kid's birthday to be precise, I returned home with the kids because Regina said she would stay with her Nollywood friends for dinner. She didn't return until 5 p.m. the next day. I took so much nonsense just for the sake of the kids. I also knew that substance has a lot to do with it. As to her reasons for continuing with the substance, she will always say, just like her mother, that is a celebrity lifestyle. They will always mention two well known pop stars. Imagine the pain of a husband trying to help his wife recover, only to have the process sabotaged by her siblings and friends, the very people who should have been supporting her healing. This pattern of behavior made it almost impossible for her to recover. Each time process was each time progress was made, they would undo it by smuggling in the same substance she was fighting to give up. The entire household lived in tension and fear because of their constant harassment, interference, and disregard for boundaries. It will be interesting to know that her reasons for the violent behavior in the house the day that Sammy and other siblings came and attacked my staffs and security, taking Regina away after doing a video which they posted the next day. Why did they do that video? Why did they post it? They simply planned and orchestrated a script all in my absence, regardless of the fact that my keys were there. They took away many things from my house, including one of my phones, money, and many other items. Everything that happened that day was in my house, in my absence. Nobody was beaten, and nobody could have contemplated that. It is blatantly false to say that I sent thugs to beat Regina in another house. The video that went viral was filmed entirely in front of my house by Regina's sister and her friend. It was a pure Nollywood scenario in front of my property in my absence. Sammy should have a life of his own outside of Regina and focus on building his career independently. When his brother Lawrence went to London a couple of years ago to do his master's degree, I personally sponsored him with $70,000 for tuition fee and upkeep. I sent him abroad partly to help him escape the toxic environment of substance and exposure and bad influence around them at the time. Out of fairness, I offered Sammy the same opportunity, but he declined, insisting he wanted to remain in Nigeria to pursue his music career. Unfortunately, he has since been arrested several times by the police and the EFCC. His behavior has become increasingly violent and unstable. What he needs now is total rehabilitation and professional guidance. Otherwise, his aggression and self-destructive tendencies will only worsen. All right, at this point, I think I should leave you guys to watch the video in full.
Who is the person driving the car?
I know they that one. Oh, enter car. I know they that. Enter. Don't wait. Don't come up for here.
Who is the person driving the car?
I see MC. They explain. Give the police and say no. She's not going anywhere.
No,
Who is he?
I said that she's going. Like this.
Let's explain it to him. Who calls him?
You are trying, don't worry.
No, you are doing for your level. I know that's what you. That's what you have to do for your level. But who calls him for she to explain where she want to go for police?
You are good.
What be that?
You are very good boy. Don't worry.
Boy, guy back side. You attempt that thing again. The display what I go display for you. And I go feel am.
Sammy, don't do now. You don't even know me today. Now what for you? You don't know what I see. And when they are when you hear the fight, see. You hear the fight.
That. What kind of disrespect is that? That is an insult. You see, they look at it, they insult her. I mean, you don't know thing that Regina Daniels. You don't know who she. They look for here, they go kill you.
Let's go.